Can you all see the screen? Just let me know. We will begin with our invocation prayer. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Very good. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshurunmilitanayena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पदारुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासवादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you. Our obeisance to Radha Govinda deities. All our respects and Dandavat Pranam. And Pranam and our respects, regards to all the devotees. You're all Krishna Bhakta, you're all devotees here, which clearly shows that early morning when you have got up and you have joined this, that itself shows that you are all great devotees. So pranam and welcome to you all. We have been always giving our gratitude. In the morning we need to give the gratitude, our respect and regards to the deities, to the devotees, and the temple ISKCON Mangaluru, which has given the opportunity to us to have this interaction. We need a platform. So that platform is already set. And I'm also happy that we have devotees who really chant well, sing well. And I know you all have the potential. We just need to unearth that. So same way, we move on to what we did last. That one module is already done. That is 1 to 6. What we did was the upper layer, okay, the jewel box outside. Now we are going to look into this. So Karma Yoga, then comes Bhakti Yoga. This 6 is totally on Bhakti, and then will be 6. The other outer layer, upper layer, the below the jewel box outside is totally on Jnana. So how is this in between? Do you think that Bhakti was never taught from the beginning? Bhakti is the one which goes, so that becomes a thread, like it is going on, not that it is just beginning only now. We know, like we had 3rd chapter as Karma Yoga, but 5th is like Karma in Krishna consciousness. What does it mean? So somewhere or other, the thread, it's like in between the lines, or you would say that, the one which is imbibed, the one which is inside, which is not so visible, but then that is there, that flowing. We move on. Welcome to you all. This is what I posted in the morning, like early morning to you all, that today it is not what happens to us, but our response to what happens to us that hurts us. Okay. So we had been looking into for 10-15 minutes on the mental health, on the life skills, on the skills that we need for day-to-day interaction, and how is it related to Bhagavad Gita. I was just sharing, before you all joined, I was sharing that 10 years of my whatever PhD I did on mental health, but I had always considered it is, whosoever I read, whichever psychiatrist I read, and whatever philosophy or policies or their the basics I read, I understood it is Bhagavad Gita and it is Krishna who is the greatest psychiatrist. There are a lot of reasons for it. But then here Prabhupada says, it is not what happens to us, but our response to what happens to us, that is what hurts us. And many of us go through this. So how do we deal with it? How is it connected with Bhagavad Gita? That's what we're going to see. We saw social skills, yeah, you know, the thinking skills and the signal light. How is it, you know, related? Then how do I go ahead? My thought process, my feelings, my actions, how it needs a congruence. हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, कहीं पे इशारे, कहीं पे नजर, कहीं पे. So we, whatever we think, we cannot talk, number one, and we cannot think whatever comes to our mind, that is the feeling. And negatively, we can never think, because we can never become the devotees then. We have to be so very careful. We cannot have that prarabdha karma. That's how we are born here. We go through all those ups and downs. So sanchita karma is, you know, you keep accumulating those karmas. That also is very, very, we need to be very careful. So how do I purify my mind as well as not getting hurt by people? And how do I detach myself, then attach where? So all these things we have been seeing from the beginning. So what is it? Thoughts create feelings. Okay. So all my thoughts, yesterday we saw how it becomes my behavior and attitude. So feelings create behavior. All my feelings, and because I will show that in my talk, in my action, in my, our faces are very transparent. We, if we are angry, if we don't like, we are content, we are happy, all our feelings, the face reflects. So the feelings create, then we behave in that way. Behavior reinforces those thoughts. So imagine, so what, how it starts? It starts with thought. Now, where do I stop the thought? So the circle of concern, we are going to see this in detail, includes the wide range of concerns you have in the world. Concerns is like, you know, the one which bothers you, your work and life, including health, family, finances, the economy, and so on. Your circle of influences are the things that concern you and that you can do something about. So the circle of concern, okay, that is what keeps concerning you. What people will think about me. Why do I do this? How do I do this? Maybe like they will not. So this is what we keep analyzing. We keep doing all this research on this. So circle of concern and circle of influence. This is what we are going to see. Circle of influence, how that has that circle of concern. So circle of concern here. Influence is inside, okay? My punctuality, sincerity, self-discipline, exam study. Yesterday we saw Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, niyama, internal discipline, external discipline, pratyahara, ahara, like, you know, then pranayama. We went till samadhi. Of course, that we will not be able to achieve. Dharana is like application of those, what we have learned. So it begins with the internal, that is all our marginal energy, which is like, you know, with the spiritual energy. So keep relating it. So what we saw in Ashtanga Yoga, to attain till samadhi, which Arjuna says it's not possible because mind is chanchala. So what do we do here? My punctuality, sincerity, self-discipline is all like, you know, those are the things which is internal purification. We have been having that. So how does it, okay, so how does it get concerned? The concern is my public image, my smartness, or people teasing, or people loving, or the results that we see in our exams. So who is a proactive and a reactive behavior? If I am going to respond or react, it depends on me. Do I respond? We need to effectively communicate. Okay, so if you have to cope with stress, deal with emotions, we need to have effective communication skills. Effective communication skills will enhance your interpersonal skills. So if I have to be doing that, so how do I get influenced by it? Proactive people, what do? They will focus on the circle of influence and work on things that they can do something about. But reactive people, what will they do? They will focus on the circle of concern, focus on weakness, faults of other people, always taking out, because of that person, I had this. Because of this reason, I had this. I had to face this. So keeping on regretting, lamenting, grief, pain, sadness, unhappy, irritation, frustration, that desire not fulfilled. So that is the reactive people. They will cause problems for themselves. It is not anybody who will be causing that problem. So how you talk, the way you talk. So proactive, okay, whatever I can, I will do, but what I cannot, I don't have any control over that. So proactive inside, I can be more patient. They'll work from inside. I can be more cooperative. Maybe I can be more wise. What you cannot, you don't have any control. So reactive people, if I had respectful friends, they'll keep regretting. Okay, if I had a better face cut, if I had more cooperation of colleagues. So we all work on, I wish I had, I wish I had, I wish I had. 10 sentences you write, okay? And 10 sentences you write, I'm happy I have, I'm happy I have, I'm happy I have. You will find this I'm happy I have will have more sentences. Just give yourself 5 minutes. 5 minutes for this, 5 minutes. I wish I had, I wish I had. Just check which has got more sentences. You see think about it and start writing for yourself in the evening. Just see. Those who are reactive people will have more on, I wish I had. Those who are proactive people will have, I'm happy I have, I'm happy I have. Okay, do you understand? So this is how we have to work. It's a cognitive restructuring of your mind. Your mind, you're restructuring it. That is what Krishna is trying to enable Arjuna. Please remember. So try to connect first chapter, second chapter. What is he trying to do? Why Mataji is explaining that, cognitive restructuring is what is being done there. Rational emotive therapy is going on. Rational, reason out, logic, find out why is it. So the problems are there. Okay, problems will be there. Direct control, problems involving your own behavior. Solution is work on improving your own habits. We need to work on our own habits. No one else is going to help us. Okay, so no control, problems we can do nothing about. There are some problems which we cannot. So solution is smile and learn to live with these problems. That is how one is. This is how he has been. Can I change my mother? Can I change my father? No. Do I need to change my college? Do I need to change my friend? No. That is how they are. So let's live. Let's live with it means you can effectively communicate whatever comes to your mind, whatever is your concern, whatever is your problem. But some things we need to learn that, it is all right. This is on the interpersonal relationship. But there are a few things which is beyond your control. You cannot change the environment. So mental methods is changing the thoughts. So the whole thing begins with our thought. Okay, we get a lot of messages. In self-awareness, we have 85% of strength. We all possess 85% of strength in our, the attitude, the behavior, everything comes into that. Then only 15% is the weakness, 1-5, that's it. But everybody will be pointing out that 15%. You could do this, you could be better, you could have done this, you could have done this. So what message goes to your mind? I am no good, I am no good, I am no good. But you cannot change others to be commenting. You cannot ask others not to comment like that. But I give a message to myself, I'm good in this, I'm good in this, I'm good in this. So every day you need to write those positive thoughts that is pertaining to you. What happens is that gets the vibration. All your nerves, those memories go into the subconscious. The first day we saw, it goes into the subconscious level. So when it goes into the subconscious level, it comes to the 10% of conscious level, that behavior pattern will be based on those subconscious messages that you've already given. No one else will give, okay? You need to work on it. Whatever you have got from the childhood is different, but now you can still work on it, because that will give you a lot of motivation, inspiration, energy. Basically, that will give you energy to move on in life. Okay, so that will happen only with the spiritual consciousness. when only with the Krishna consciousness, only with the spiritual emotion quotient, okay? Because everything begins with a thought. Okay, specific criteria. You can all assess yourself. This is for the mental health. Adequate contact with reality. Good mental health require a wholesome relation. What is a wholesome relation here? Here, okay. Wholesome relation with the with the world of things, people, events, and other realities with which we come into daily contact. Daily, you have an interaction. Okay, so that we need to face that reality. Healthy attitude, a good, wholesome relation to the reality is, you can read it little slowly. I'm going little faster, but then we'll go on in the explanation also. A good, wholesome relation to reality is helped along a great deal with sound and healthy attitudes. These attitudes are states of mind. My attitude is my state of mind that we assume towards our work, friends, family, other social groups, and all other things that we come across in our lives. So this is all specific criteria. So you need to assess, am I having a sound mental health? If not, it is all right. How do I get into the devotional service? How do I get into the Navavida Bhakti and then make myself into this, fit into this? Control of thoughts and imagination, control of thinking can aid a great deal in developing healthy attitudes, as well as in furthering a wholesome perspective regarding reality. And that comes when you look into people, when you see somebody, when you get irritated, just look there and give a smile. How? Think that you have to empathize with that person. You need to be compassionate. If somebody is angry, shouting at you, somebody is hurting you, just look at them and see, oh, Krishna is residing inside. Hello, Krishna. Smile, give a smile. Their attitude will change. The enemies will change. You send a vibration, you start blessing that person from inside because Krishna is residing. Make Krishna feel comfortable. So relate it that way. Mental efficiency, the control of thought and other mental abilities is of basic importance to the achievement of mental efficiency. When we have mental efficiency, what happens is we are able to shine in all respects: relationship, self-awareness, dealing with emotions, coping with stress, or interpersonal decision making and problem solving. So everywhere you will see that, you will work on the efficiently. The capacity to utilize factors like intelligence, volition, and memory effectively encourages mental stability. There has to be steadfast, focused, always. That is why the Mahavishwasam. Be firm, be assertive, be firm. Efficiency is associated with mentally stable personalities. Mental efficiency, therefore, may be taken as a reliable signpost of mental stability. Mental stability is, I believe in Krishna, I have full Mahavishwasam, I know that my devotional services, my giving, surrendering, totally leaving it to Krishna and keeping on doing my prescribed duties is what is, that efficient rate you need to assess. How much efficiency am I getting disturbed? Am I getting, deluded? I'm getting, okay, maybe, may not be, then gone. Integration of thought and conduct. This is very, very important. Important to mental health is also the integration of my thoughts and my conduct, my behavior. Integration hinges on the factors of personal integrity, which itself may be regarded as a criterion of healthiness of mind. My mind has to be very, very healthy. Okay. Thinking all positives, thinking about the devotion, thinking about, so my thought, my thinking, it gives the health, it nurtures the mind, it gives some sort of vitamins and minerals to the brain. Okay, so the mind also, all your consciousness has to be nurtured, has to be like the way you pour water and put the minerals, put the, for the soil, the way you put not only water, but you do put all the resources which will keep that root healthy. That is how your mind also needs to be nurtured. Your mind has to be purified. The environmental mastery, this implies the ability to love and work. Nothing like love, and love comes only when we are kind to all living entities, and that's what Krishna is saying. Adequate in interpersonal relationship, meeting situational requirements, adaptation and adjustment, and efficiency in problem solving. I'm giving this I'm doing so much, and believe it, when I have the anxiety, I'm still practicing, okay? Not that I'm a very kind, very loving, very affectionate, always speaking those words. It's very difficult. I teach, I write, I do everything, but then I know. So wherever I'm going here and there, immediately catch hold of Krishna. Krishna, help me. Krishna, please make me think like this. Krishna, please make my words say like, make my words to come out like this. So, oh Lord Supreme Godhead, give me the courage to change the things which I can and ought to be changed, the serenity to accept the things which cannot be changed. That cannot be changed, I need to accept. Okay, acceptance is very, very important. And the wisdom to know the difference, what I can accept, what I can change, that needs to be our prayer. Okay, we move on to what we did yesterday, advancing in Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, we saw the pranayama. I don't know how many of you tried Rechaka, Puraka, Kumbhaka. Inhalation, how many matras, blinking of your eyes. That's what Sitaraman Prabhu explained to you. Then Kumbhaka is holding the breath, and then Rechaka, inhalation, exhalation, and holding. So these three with the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I have not taken the breath. So this, try to do this and, connect it and see it also. So do it for yourself. This inhalation, the pranayama is the best thing for keeping your immune in a very high condition, and good sleep, and the basic food that you eat, everything, ahara. So sattvika food, without offering to Krishna, do not eat anything that you offer. He is ready to take. That we will study in detail. Palam toyam, just one leaf, water, milk, fruits, just offer and eat. And that becomes prasadam. Okay. Stages of Ashtanga Yoga practice. We saw why control mind. This is what we have been going through since, I think, last 3 days. Destination of unsuccessful yogi. If they don't, then they are reborn. They are born in the pious family, rich family, and they continue there. That's what we saw yesterday. Bhakti yogi, bhakti is the topmost yoga. So today we go on to Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Jnanam is like knowledge, knowledge of absolute. Vijnana is the basic science, is total connection. That's why this class is science and spirituality. Okay. So Grishma Mataji, you'll read the shloka, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnasyasi Tachrunu.
Thank you. Now here, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Srijita Mataji, you read the translation, okay? So that will be...
Okay, Mataji.
Because this, remember, our youth class, science and spirituality, this session is all interactive. So I would really want you all to take part in it. Okay, that's why we don't mute anybody, and we don't even in your the group is always there. We are ready to take all the questions and everything. So it has to be two-way process, not one way. Okay, so he's saying now, practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, the mind attached to me. You see the difference, right? You see what was there in Dhyana Yoga. It was still Samadhi, the way it was, and now totally concentrating, totally focused. That is why we have, because Krishna is in the personal form with 4 hands, and then if you are not able to focus in the vacuum, then have one, photographs, one picture. He just keep looking at him, going back and forth, talk to him. What will happen is totally, you will feel that he is inside you. With mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Yes, Mataji. Second shloka, you read that. Shloka is not here. You have the book, right?
Yes, Mataji. ज्ञानं तेऽहं सविज्ञानमिदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यज्ञातव्यमविष्यते.
Yes.
I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and nominal, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known.
Yes. So this is like, slowly the secret will come till ninth. Guhyam, Guhyataram, Guhyatamam, all secret, most secret. So it's all confidential things. That is what is going to give us phenomenal and nominal. So if you are going to be, the outer space, Paramatma, Brahman, Paramatma, then Bhagavan. So slowly and gradually we are entering into the transcendental knowledge. What is this? Absolute truth. Who is absolute truth? Sat Chit Anand. So Krishna says, I'm going to now give you that knowledge. So nobody will know. Now I'm going to give you that. Yes. Third one.
मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद् यतति सिद्धये यततामपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन्मां वेति तत्त्वतः.
Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth.
This is like for marathon, everybody will run, and in race, only few. And then finally, only one will come. So hardly one knows me in truth. In truth, nobody knows. It's such a phenomenal thing. It is absolutely, no one knows his opulences. No one really knows the truth. So many thousands men, they will be going on perfection. They will keep practicing. But those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. In reality, only one or two will know. Okay.
भूमिरापो नलो वायुः मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहङ्कार इतीयं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरिष्टधा.
Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated material energies.
Yes, marginal energy, material energy, and then material nature we will see. So the energies are all from him. Bhautika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adi Vaumika. So you will see all this energy, 24 elements, and this is Adi Bhautika. Earth, water, fire, air, ether is like mind, intelligence, and false ego. So these are first 8 comprise is material energy. This is also from him. Fifth shloka.
अपरेयमिति स्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो येदं धारते जगत्.
Besides this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mine, which are all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe.
Yes, it is Jivatma, okay, so, super soul, Paramatma, and then material nature, all around you. So this is all inferior nature, but it is also from him. It is from the extended energy, from his energy only. So there is another superior energy, but you will find everything in the living entities, okay? They are all struggling in the material nature. It is the struggling is because of our own wish and our own will, and we have chosen this birth and we have come here. Okay, it was always a free will. Nobody forces you. Why? Because we are all conditioned soul. We have been conditioned in such a way that we fall into, when we are born, we come with those 3 gunas: rajas, tamas, and sattva, rajas, and tamas. The mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So we are entangled into this, and that is how in this material nature we keep struggling. We are all struggling. It is conditioned soul. So when are you going to get the liberation? We have not set our goals. We don't want to go back to our Godhead. We are happy doing the same back and forth, and then coming to the birth and death into this only. So We are such perishable. When you read all this, when you get this knowledge of absolute truth, you will think, oh my God, such a small thing. After all, it's only my body which is getting hurt. That's it. It's perishable. And why am I? Oh my God, I'm going to like construct second floor, third floor. I want more money for what? For what? How much? Earn a lot of money. Okay, keep earning. But then how much I want, how much I am going to get content, how much I'm going to do for charity, how much I'm going to, have it for myself. All these things is also Krishna is talking. Is also Krishna is going to give you the explanation in coming chapters. Okay, so this material energy and the material nature, conditioned soul we are, Jivatma, Paramatma, and then you will see that around you what is happening, which is making you get into this entanglement. 7.7, that shloka.
मत्तः परतरं नान्य किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोक्तं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव
7.6 also you read, because both are given, but it is in a, okay, Manigana.
Okay. एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वानित्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा.
Yes.
O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution.
So as you see a pearl necklace, what is there? The string is inside. So you will see that, he is holding it. If the pearl, like if that thread is not there, the pearl will fall. So he is holding, it's like strung on a thread. Okay. So everything is resting upon him. And then that material and all that spiritual in the world, know that certain that I'm both its origin. The origin is also him, the dissolution is also him. So annihilation, creation, mentors, Janardana, he is the one who has created us, and he is the one who is holding us. He is the one who will also work for the annihilation, okay, with different forces. That is what we need to understand. So slowly and gradually, you will see till the Virat Rupa that he is explaining about his own existence, his own energy, and we are all just part and parts. It's just a speck, it's a spot. That's it. We are only a bubble. That's it. But we have so much of ego, false ego. Then we are the doers. We are not. Okay. So all three you are seeing: creator, and the one who is trying to maintain, sustain, then annihilation, the one who is responsible for all dissolution. Okay, everything is me. Yes.
रसोऽहम् अप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दके पौरुषं
O son of Kunti, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man.
Okay, so a lot of research is going on for the water. Water has energy. Water has got some taste. Water has got something. Water can talk. Water can become dark. What you give him a, a lot of, you would be seeing a lot of YouTube, and the Japanese scientist is doing this, that. So the taste in water is Krishna. He says, like, I am the taste in that. And so think about it. All these bhautika, the things around you, also has something which is beyond your research, which science cannot explain. Okay, so that's why this chapter itself is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Science cannot explain. What is it? Something, that atom and this one, but there is something which is creating all this. Who is that? What is it? Nobody will explain. Krishna has himself said that, I am the taste in the water. then the light of the sun and the moon. So Pranava mantra, you all have heard, any Vedic mantra starts with Om. So that Om, that sound also was captured by different scientists, and that sound is like, it goes on. So that mantra, that sound is Krishna. And the sound in ether, the sound is in the space, and the ability in man, the strength. The strength is also, he is the one, and he is the strongest person also. So this is what is it, who is it, and of what, among whom. Taste in water, light in moon and sun, Om, Vedic mantras, sound in ether, ability in man, fragrance in earth. That smell comes of earth. If when the water pours, you all know, you would have had that fragrance also, that smell. Heat and fire. Okay, the life, all that lives, penance, all aesthetics, original seed, all existences, intelligence, inintelligent, and prowess, all powerful men, strength, the strong, devoid of passion and desire, sex life, not contrary to religious principles. That means the one who is married with all the Vedic mantras and one who has gone into the Grahastha Ashrama, that is where he explains about the sex life. So 7.8 to 11 shlokas explains that what is the indifferent, this material nature around you, Adi Bhautika. He is there in all this. And how he is, like he is in that particular, that efficient way of explaining is, I am the taste in water. What is it makes you to drink and then you feel so good about it? That taste. And that taste is he. Okay, so 24 elements of material nature. That is 5 elements is earth, water, fire, air, ether. Okay, then false ego, I, me, mine, we say, that intelligence. Then 1 unmanifested stage of 3 modes of nature, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. 24 elements we are calculating. Then 5 acquiring senses. So how do you acquire the senses? Karmendriya, Jnanendriyas. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch, how human body receives sensory information. Then 5 working senses. Okay, Karmendriya, that is working senses. Voice, legs, hands, anus, genitals, that is reproductive organs. Then 5 object of senses, smell, taste, warmth, touch, and sound. Beyond that is mind, that is 1. So Karmendriyas literally means organs of action. Every human being is endowed with 11 indriyas, that is sense organs. These organs are 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, and a mind. The 5 karmendriyas are organs of action, are vak, that is speech, pani, hands, pada. That itself, the what you saw, the 24 elements is what is explained here also. So these have been called karmendriyas because they are the indriyas, that is sense organs responsible for karma or action. So the mind is above than all this. That is the important one. So mind makes everything, all these sense organs to work and think, and then travels and does everything. Chanchala buddhi. Root of karmendriyas. Karmendriyas are the products of Rajas aspect of 5 tanmantras as follows. Akasha or ether or space gives rise to vak, that is speech. Vayu or air gives rise to pani. Agni or fire gives rise to pada. Apas or water gives rise to vayu. Prithvi or earth gives rise to upasta. This the root of karmendriyas, where does it come from? All this from the bhautika. Okay, so in all these 24 elements, what you see, it is Krishna who recites. Okay, Mataji, 12th shloka.
ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तमसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि.
So, yeah.
All states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of this material nature.
This is what we need to be very, very careful in understanding. Okay, you are seeing in this image Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva Guna. Okay, now you're all in mode of goodness. You're all in the Sattva Guna. You're all sitting here listening to Bhagavad Gita. Morning is usually like that. Then you will rush to the college and bus, traffic jam, whatever you take, and then getting angry, anxiety. So we are all like puppets into this, all Trigunas. Whereas, although he is a creator, although he is responsible, but he's independent. He is not, he's above than all this. That's what we need to understand. He's above, he's detached. He doesn't come into this. He doesn't get trapped into this. He doesn't fall into it. We are only the puppets. We only fall into it and get entangled. Mode of goodness or mode of passion or mode of ignorance. Okay. So 13th slokam.
त्रिभिर्गुणमयार्भैर् सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम्.
Yes.
Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible.
Inexhaustible, very important. That is, deluded by three modes is like we all are deluded. Okay, we are in the delusion, we are in the illusion, we are into this Maya, we are into this. He is above than all this. He says, I am not into it. You fall as a trap. Here, see, envy, ignorance, and then fear, false ego. But then leaving all this, how do we get into this? How do we come out of it? Only by devotion, only by Krishna consciousness, only by keeping ourselves in a very sacred place, by connecting with the superior energy, by saying that total detachment to the material nature and attachment to Krishna consciousness, but keeping on doing your prescribed duties. That is the only way to come out of it. There he is, samsara sagaram. So he will rush. You just raise your hand, but then he's there to pull you up. Yes. 14th shloka.
दैविहेषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्तया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते.
This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
See, the beauty in this image is, he is rushing, he is not even waiting for the Garuda. He's on the Garuda, but look at the way he is like. So this image clearly shows he's coming to rescue you. Prahlad Maharaj, you remember how much torture, how much tormentation, everything the father did. But still, the way he was tolerant and patient. So, and Krishna runs and he's just waiting. Okay. That is how Lord Narasimha came. No? So the way he is not even allowing Garuda to come down, but he is coming down. That's the beauty in that image that clearly shows how he is.
Namam dushkritino muda prapadyante naradhamaha mamaya parthatagnyana asuram bhavamashritah.
Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the aesthetic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me.
So, atheist, basically, miscreants, naradhama, they are naradhama, dushkritino. So they are miscreants and they are foolish. Okay, they are the lowest in the mankind. They think, they say, they think, and they say, oh, it's all superstitious. It's all like, sab bhakwas hai. You have heard all these words. Oh, I don't believe in it. Oh, I am beyond this. I believe in all, I'm above all this. It's the nature who takes care. So they will talk also, and they will behave also, and they will make sure the others, those who are into it, they will also, that is the peer influence. I heard in the last batch, people saying that people around me keep talking like this. We need to ignore them. We don't have to. In the 18th chapter, you will see Those who don't believe, you don't have to go and explain it to them. Those who don't believe in Krishna, we don't have to bring them to the streamline and say, oh, Krishna is everything. It is when those who have little inclination, catch hold of them. Why? We are not converting somebody, but we are explaining what Krishna has said. We are just explaining what Krishna has said. Taking it or not taking it, it is up to them. It's a free will. So there are Mudhatmas, there are Dushkritino. Their knowledge is stolen by illusion. Okay, they are atheist basically, and they are also Asura Bhava. Asura. We don't have to see the Asuras now. So these three images. This is like, you know, as the donkey will carry so much, like, you know, we have to, this is an analogy, keep working, keep working, keep working, keep working, mode of ignorance, only for this much of grass, ultimately only that much, but still they will think mode of ignorance. Now here you will see the mode of passion, and this image is, you all know who is this, the one who is doing the penance, the one who is in the one leg, standing on one leg. Who is this? With 10
Ravana.
heads. Ravana. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So what does he want? All immortality. I don't have to die. I will not die. So this sort of, this thing is mode, in the mode of passion. You know, I need something. So they will go on this. Then Jagai Matai, they were so, here you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they were like, you know, in the mode of ignorance. Finally he forgives them and he takes, that is mode of Sattva Guna, that is mode of goodness. Okay, so these three images show mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. We will be having that in detail later. Okay, next shloka.
Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritinarjuna artho jignyasurararthi jnani cha bharatarshabha.
O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute.
So in the last shloka, it was like, you know, 4 types of dushkritino. Here sukritino, those who are good, pious people. But that sukritino also, you know, they are in the different categories, different level. Somebody who need money, who really is so much in distress. I think I have told this. So Chaturvidha bhajante, 4 types of people worship me. Who are those 4 types of people? One, who you can see this image. This is like, you know, totally I am in the condition where I need your help, Krishna. Then that is the distressed. Then the other one is desirer of wealth. Then the third is like, I'm very inquisitive. I need to know. So I'm very inquisitive. And then the fourth one is Jnani. So the knowledge, I just need to have this knowledge. I'm in search of this knowledge. Now you have to tell me this 4 type of Sukritino. This is, you know it, like Gajendra Moksham, right? So this elephant has been caught by this crocodile. So he is calling Krishna. So what is it? Distressed or Jnani or Artharthi, Jignasu? Who is this? What is it in the 4 type of Sukritino? Is it in distress is calling Gajendra, the elephant, or Jnani, or what is it? He is caught, no, by the crocodile.
Distressed.
Yes, distressed. What about Draupadi? What about Draupadi? Is calling, no? She is calling Krishna. Distressed. She's also distressed. And here, this is Vyasa. Veda Vyasa's son was, Sukhdev. He doesn't come out for so many, 16. He says, no, outside it is difficult. Krishna comes and says, no, you come out. So Vedavyasa goes and he's desiring something. He wants his son to come out. She's finding it so difficult. She is in distress. Okay. So she has to deliver, but then Sukh Maharaj, he's such a jnani, he doesn't want to come out. So Krishna, Vedavyas goes and tells Krishna that you have to come and help. Now, this is Parikshit Maharaja with listening to Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadev. So this is jnani, inquisitiveness. Basically, they want to know, curiosity. Okay, jigyasu. Here, this is Durva. So he is also, he is in the Sukritino, which stage, which is like out of 4 pious people. Once initially he wants the to sit in his father's lap, but once he sees Krishna, he says, no, I don't need anything. So he's in both the stages. Okay, then here Vali, Sugriva with Rama, they decide on to find out. So they are in the friendship mode, but what pious? They have become friends, and they are desiring something. Okay, so this is what pious people also have got 4 types. That's what is being explained here. Jigyasu is curiosity, jnani is totally one, and then somebody desiring wealth, and somebody is in destitute, like depressed, distressed. Okay, yes. 17th shloka.
तेषां ज्ञाने नित्ययुक्त एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोऽर्थोऽहं स च मम प्रियः.
Of these, the wise one who is in full knowledge in union with me through pure devotional service is the best, for I am very dear to him and he is dear to me.
Now Krishna is going to talk about who is dear to him. Let's be very watchful. We have to become dearer to him.
Bahunam janmanamante jnanavanmam prapadyate vasudevas sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha.
After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare.
Very rare. Karan bhi wahi hai, karta bhi wahi hai, all that songs we have heard from him. So he is the cause, he is the ultimate, he is the cause for everything. If those who understand this, so they, after many births and deaths, that is when one really comes with that knowledge and totally surrenders. We have had enough, no? So that is how we have started surrendering ourselves. So 20th shloka and 21st shloka, Mataji, we will skip. You have already chanted the shlokas. So I don't want you to be, we'll go for the explanation. Thank you, Mataji. Here the shloka is not given, but you have already chanted. So those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender into demigods. This is a very important subject concept here. We all worship. Okay, so demigods worship. That goal setting is not for Krishna consciousness. Means if I want to go to Krishna's Goloka, Vrindavan or Vaikunta, then I have one aim. One aim is that I reach. That's it. So then if I am going to that material desire, immediately all my desires fulfilled. Okay, fatafat jaake, 100 coconuts there, diya here, and this particular dana here, this charity here, giving this charity, all that is being done. So these demigods are all limbs of Krishna. So no problem. He has said at least like that they will come closer. So their desires are fulfilled and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. So their minds are distorted because they just want those needs immediately to get fulfilled. So, everything Krishna will look after. If you say, they will not be very happy about it. So slowly and gradually they come. And this is also his sankalpa. Krishna has created this. Okay, so in today, if you go and tell, no, 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 don't do all this, they will, whatever they have been doing, little by little, that also will go away. So we cannot stop them. But those who are into Krishna consciousness understands that it is because of my karma, I am, whatever I am going through, but I am empowered and enabled by Bhagavad Gita, by Krishna, then I'm okay with it, whatever pain, or I'm going in a balanced way. So I'm in everyone's heart as super soul. As soon as one desires to worship this demigods, I make his faith steady. Imagine, I make his faith. Today, if I tell my son, if I tell my daughter, oh, you do this, I'm sure you will get full marks in your exam. They will do. And if they don't get, they're going to come and blame, right? But Krishna says, like, make sure that those desires are fulfilled, so that the faith becomes steady and they will devote themselves to a particular deity. Oh, if I do with Hanuman, if I do parikrama, then I get lot of things. We see a lot of temples, it is absolutely fine, because it's all created by Krishna. And he says, I just want them to have that steady faith. Their desires here are fulfilled, so they become happy and they have become more faithful and more of devotions. Okay. Now reaching the ultimate goal is beyond, that is the liberation, total liberation. So when we have that goal, then these perishable things, these small desires, he is ready to give a bigger thing for us. We have to forget about. These are all like thinking, whether I get a diamond, whether I get a stone, both are same for me. That is how we need to take. But this is also created by Krishna only. It is his sankalpa. All right. Endowed with such a faith, he seeks favors of a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. It's so funny. In one of the village, I read somewhere, they are constructing a church, it seems, and they are doing a Ganesh Puja. So the whole village was into doing Ganesh Puja, that without any vigna. So that even if I have to have a Krishna, bhakti, it's okay. I do, and I say, oh, there should not be any vigna. There should not be any destruction or deviation. So men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. That is what we need to understand. This fruit is really temporary, and it is not permanent. Once we understand this, then we will not be going behind all this. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Okay, so those who worship whichever, that loka, that Shivaloka, my Durga, it's Durga. It is like Durga is Durg. A fort is being built. So all these are created by Krishna, and it is like they are the limbs of Krishna. He is a CEO, suppose. So different gods, demigods have been given different work for them to get the desires to be fulfilled, but it is he who is giving it through them. Okay. Unintelligent men who know me not think that I have assumed this form and personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme. So they think that this is how he is a Maya. Okay. They are unintelligent men, those who do not know. Once who knows, and how will we know? Only by understanding Gita, Bhagavad Gita in detail. In level 1, you are just, looking into the upper layer in the sense that 10%, that's it, that conscious level. But what is there inside when we go and study in detail? Each loka, that is in level 2. So be with us in level 2, each loka in detail when you study. And that is where we will really understand, we'll become intelligent, and we will become more of in a very structured and mentally healthy person also, because he's showing the path in a very structured way, how to come out of all these lamentation, all this entanglement, and then how to get liberated. Okay, so I'm never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I'm covered with by my eternal creative potency, Yoga Maya. So we are all, that delusion is there, no? Yoga Maya, that is also created by him. And so the deluded world knows me not. Who am I, unborn or infallible? I'm unborn, infallible. He is the Anadi. He's eternal. Souls are also eternal. But then we are fallible and he is infallible. Okay, he doesn't get into entanglement into any of these. Oh Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. Isn't it amazing? He knows he is into smallest insect also. He is very far, he is very close. His smallest is the biggest, his largest is the tiniest. He is omnipresent, he is omni. So what does it mean? In Ishva Upanishad, there are only 18 shlokas. Okay, so these, when you enter into it, you will understand he's beyond our imagination, but he's the closest to all. In any form that you want, you can show he is there as a Karunya. So he is the Bhagavan who is the most kind person. He will just wait for smallest thing that you do. He'll say, no. So the Ajamila story, he was chanting Narayana. He was calling his son, 10th son, Narayana, Narayana. So the Vishnu Dutas came. He says, no. He is a. So they wait some small. We will tell this. I'll tell you this story in detail later on. When you just do a tiniest thing for Bhagavan, tiniest thing. So he's like such a kind-hearted person. But then no one knows him. No one knows this absolute truth. Yes. 28 shloka. Grishma Mataji, 28 shloka.
Yes, Mataji. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandvamoha nirmukta bhajante mam dridavratah.
Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, and who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination.
Yes, those who are piously in previous lives. And then it continues. So wherever we have left, we are all continuing from there only. We are freed from the duality of delusion. I'm saying so confidently with conviction and faith that we are all into this because you have already started engaging yourselves at this age. That's a beautiful thing. That's a wonderful thing. I really wish you continue in this and you will do it. See, once you get hold of it, we will never fall into this trap. It is a trap. It is basically a trap. We will never get into the trap. Those who know me as a Supreme Lord, as a governing principle of the material manifestation, who know me as the one underlying all the demigods and as the one sustaining all sacrifices, can with steadfast mind understand and know me even at the time of death. So even at the time of death, like we just saw Jadabharata's story, when he was dying, he had been so pious. All 3 janmas, we understood what he was, and then he was into the total devotion. And he was quiet in the 3rd stage, like in the 3rd janma, he said, no, I will not talk. But even as a deer, he did not. So that steadfast mind, because of those devotion, total penances, total that all those austerities that he had been, internal discipline, outside, external discipline, knowing very well that it is the Supreme Lord, he knows, those who know that he is the supreme governing the principle of material manifestation. This is a lovely story. He is Bilva Mangala Thakur, okay, and he was a sannyasi. Now he was a total Krishna devotee, same like Bharata, Jadabharata. He was in the level of bhava. So I have told you the stages also, no, different stages. In that Bhava Bhakti, he was in the Bhava Bhakti. Next is Bhava Bhakti is attachment to Krishna. Next is Prema, the ultimate. So what happened was he was fond of organizing Bhagavatam festivals. Now, then he is used to distribute food. But then how much food they can be giving? He lost enough, he didn't have money. Tirumangai Alvar also out of 12 hours, another devotee also, like they give food and food and food and they don't have money. He needed more money. Okay. So of course the moral of the story is they have to be very well earned. And then so this is one life. Okay. He didn't have money. Then what he did was he saw a cremation of a young lady, young princess. She was being cremated. And when she was cremated, what he saw was, a lot of jewels because she is a princess, lot of jewels with love. So he tried to take it. Now this princess talked, although the body is burning, she talked and she says, if you need money, go and ask my father. And in a particular closet, she said, in this particular almirah, I have kept everything, go and take. He was very happy. So he went and then he asked the king, and the king was very happy. Oh, my daughter talked. And so he went and took all that and he started again doing the, distributing the food. But, that is finished. And then he again came because he is so tempted, so much of jewels, although for a good intention, good reason. But then, then she cursed him. She cursed him and she says, you will become the woman hunter. So the next, she became a prostitute, Chintamani, and he was a woman hunter. So he left the house with a beautiful wife, and then he was doing a Shirarda for his father, and he left, and then he went to this Chintamani. He went and then he went to this prostitute house. How he went was, it was stormy night, and then he held a cobra, he held a dead body, it was raining, it was so dark, and then he raised and he jumped over the wall and went to her house, the Shraddha day. And then, like, he has done the Shraddha for his father. So Chintamani said, what is this? The same devotion if you have kept for Krishna, where you would have reached. Just for this body, you have come all the way. So when she said, then he has been doing such good pious thing in the previous birth. And but then he was cursed by her because she cursed, the young princess cursed, and she cannot, the princess cannot curse a Brahmana. She became a prostitute. She was Chintamani in this, and he became a woman hunter. Then finally, then when she said this, then he remembered and then he went back. So he goes to Vrindavan, he sits there, and he goes to Haridwar, he sits there and does all the, again, the pious, Krishna's in memory, he does everything. What happens is, because he's a woman hunter, again, he see a girl who is so beautiful. She is one Brahman's wife, and he goes behind her. And then he asks her that, can you just take out one needle? She gives a needle and he pricks his eyes. And he says, no, these eyes are the reason for me to get this. So then he again goes back to Krishna's abode. And, this is what he has written, lots and lots of, see, Krishna himself is listening. Bilva Mangala Thakur. This is again 3 Janma story. Total devotion, one bad karma. The intentions were good, but then he went and he was like, so the moral of the story basically is, our wealth in life should be properly earned. Very, very important. Even when we want to serve Krishna and his devotees, it should be properly earned. Otherwise, we have to suffer the consequences of bad karma. Do you understand? So we need to be very, very careful. Now, this is what we did in 7th chapter, glories of knowledge about Krishna. We just began. The knowledge of Lord Krishna's energies. They are all marginal potencies, marginal energies, material nature, and then he is Jiva and Paramatma, surrendering unto Lord Krishna, demigod worship and impersonalism, from delusion to devotion. This is very, very important. From delusion to devotion, we have come to, from that Maya, we have come out. It's just not the energy, it is in the personal form. I've been explaining this again and again. It is personal form. He is person. He is a person with forehead, Champu Chakra Gadapat. Okay. So I'll stop here. Any question if you have, you can ask. The thinking skills and other things, we are connecting it again and again and again and again, so that, you know, we become mentally stable and mental efficiency comes out when we are connected with Krishna. That efficiency, one must be wondering, how do I do it? How do I do it? That how part is given by Krishna here. Okay. So this material nature is all perishable. It's temporary. And demigod worship is, how does it go? And this Maya, this delusion, how does it make? Where does it take us? So these are the important messages in this chapter. Any question? Or you're all into taking a deep breath? Where are we? What are we? How are we? Why are we here? Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. Sri Krishna. Yes, Brajesh Prabhu. 1 second. Mataji, I have a doubt. Is Sri Krishna a male, or we just assume him to be a male? Okay. Very good question. He's a only Purusha. We are all three. Do you know that? He's a only Purusha. We are all, so Parangusha Nayaki, when we read Alvar stories, the Bhakti movement, all of them, we are all girls, all of us. He's the only Purusha, he is the only male. He has the qualities as an Antaryami because he is the Radharani is in his Vakshasthala. So he has those qualities. That is the Prema Bhava of his. So he has the feminine qualities. That is what is Radha. That is what is Rukmani. Yes, Prajesh Prabhu, you said something?
No, nothing. In the question in chat box, I wanted to Prabhuji asked.
Okay. So no, I didn't hear it clearly, but I just saw this question. But is there any other question? I maybe like in the chat box, I didn't see. Okay, so Radharani Bhava is what? The Bhava means the expression of feminine is the love, the epitome of love. And in Ramanuja cult also, you will see all the Alvars talk, they are all Nayaki Bhava. All their poetry is like as a Nayaki, because that Bhava, that expression leads to total surrender, total devotion. And that surrendering can happen when, you know, that the conjugal love, that conjugal love with Krishna is what all those hymns talks about. Only Periyalvar talks about. These Alvar stories you do read if you have, whenever you have time in life. So Periyalvar tries to have that bhava of Krishna as a son. Okay. The other Alvars think him as that, you know, he is in the love. He is in that transitional love. That is absolutely that bliss, that Sachidananda Ananda. He is in the Ananda Nilaya. Okay. So and Radha is the epitome of the love, and she is the bhava, she is the expression, she is the feminine guna. That is what is Radharani. Okay, so the more we read, more we go into detail in Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma. You know, all those scriptures talks about, and you will understand. So absolute truth has just begun. It's just a glimpse. It's just a small dot. Whatever scriptures we have. Okay. So Hare Krishna.
Ma'am, there is another question in the chat box by Shiv Prabhu, that what is ether?
Ether. You know, ether cannot, it's the vacuum space in this. So if you do this sound, you will know. If you make it, what is it? This sound, how did it come? Okay. So do read about it in detail. Can we love others like Sri Krishna? Why not? We can love everybody, all living entities, because Krishna is residing in every living entity. I was telling you in the beginning, when we see somebody has hurt you, okay, or criticized you, or even the enemies, you can love like the way Krishna has loved, because If you love Krishna, you will love every living entity. So you look at somebody and you say Krishna is residing. Okay, our intentions have to be very good. It is not physical relations. Imagine the love here talks about the expression of love itself is beyond imagination, because it's the bliss. It is Ananda Nilaya. What is Ananda Nilaya? It is above everything. That pure love is total dedication, total surrendering. So I always, there is a difference, okay? Liking, loving and all. But in Krishna consciousness, love is like that. So I need to understand, can we love others like Sri Krishna? What does that mean? We have to love every living entity that Krishna has created. Krishna has created everything. Okay. So that has to be our bhava. I don't know. I'm not very clear about this question, but then we have to have a good intention. Underlying is that. Yes. Anything else? Otherwise, you can write. I will be able to write and send you also. Okay, we'll stop here and have a good day, great day. Hare Krishna. Let Krishna be with you all, and do not leave the group. You have to join the level 2. We have just finished one module. We have gone into the second module, total bhakti, and then we'll go to jnana. So karma, bhakti, jnana. We will, but it is all interlinked. Is in the way is the money. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prajesh Prabhu, you will, as usual, you will close the session with the Panchatattva mantra.
Yes, ma'am.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everybody. And if any doubt, any question you have, Prajesh Prabhu is there to answer for your quiz and other things. So I hope you're all doing the quiz and it is very easy for you. Do read, do the japa also. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Grishma Mataji. And then Roop Manjari Mataji. Thank you for a very nice chanting and bhajan. Then thank you, Srijita Mataji. Please, all of you, do chant and do come forward with the one of the bhajan every day. Okay. Thank you so much. Prajesh Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.